aware of the difference between net earnings and gross earnings? Come with me. Hello, guys. My name is Jeanette Odunoye. I am a music lawyer. I'm a music publisher. And today I'm going to be talking about the difference between net earnings and gross earnings. You are an artist, you're a producer, you're a composer, you are signed to a record label, you're signed to a publishing company, you're signed to a management company, and you empower this company you are signed with to collect royalties, to collect income on your behalf. Most important thing you need to know about the income they are getting from for on your behalf, especially if they're going to be getting a chunk, a commission, or a part of that income, is the way they are expected to earn from that income. And now that brings us to how gross earnings and net earnings affect you as a music creator. In the agreement, it says that whatever money you make, the management company, the record label, the publishing company gets a part of the money and all that. So when the money starts coming, when you start making income, the total money you make or the total income you make from maybe a song or from maybe an appearance or from endorsement or from royalties generated from the catalog subject to that agreement is called the gross earnings. That is the total income. So if $1,500,000 comes in as your income, the whole $1,500,000, $1,500,000 or $1,500,000 is your gross earning. So now there's also another thing called net earnings. It means that there are certain situations whereby there are expenses that were made in the course of managing you, in the course of representing your interests and all that. There are tax deductions. We know the old tax laws that has been passed now, requiring everyone to like file their tax returns and pay their taxes. They are withholding taxes. That's if you are a Nigerian creative and you sign to a a company based in the US, or your publishing company is based in the US, or your publishing administrator is based in the USA. So if you don't know this, if you're in this kind of situation, you need to understand that the US government is mandated to get a 30% withholding tax from your royalties if you work with any music company based in the US. So these are certain expenses, these are necessary expenses, and most importantly, advances. That's if you are signed to a record label or a publishing company. So all these deductions, if they are removed or if they are deducted from the total gross earnings we talked about earlier, then the remainder of that income is known as the net earnings. So now we want to talk about how not knowing the difference might affect you. An artist signs with a record label and they said their earnings will be on the gross and not the ends. So for example, again, the income from the gross earnings totals about $100,000, and the split between the record label and the artist is 80%, 20%, 80% to the record label and 20% to the artist. If the agreement says that the company is getting, or the record label is getting 80% of the gross earnings, so when the $100,000 comes, they first remove their 80% gross, they first remove that 80% gross earnings, that is $80,000. That is, they remove their earnings before any deductions like withholding tax expenses and all that. So now we are left with 20% gross earnings, which is supposed to go to the artist. So from that 20% gross earnings, they collect their they deduct any expenses, they deduct any tax, any withholding tax before they now recoup their advance. So that's it. So if it was the other way around, they will first remove the necessary deductions like tax, like expenses, like whatever it is that does not add to the recoupable advance. They will first remove it before collecting their 80%. You understand? So now they have to deduct withholding tax, whatever tax, this, that, expenses before they now start recording their advance from the remaining 20%. So as an artist, I know you might not have the requisite knowledge to be able to review your agreement and all that, but these are the things you need to discuss with your lawyer. Is the income going to be from net earnings or gross earnings and all that? So it's very important for you to know the difference. So moving forward, you are well protected. Also in management contract and all that. So your manager is representing you and you guys decide or agree on 70/30, 70 to you, the artist or the music creative, 30% to the manager. So if the manager is taking 30% of gross earnings, so when the first 1 million naira comes, they take that 300K before they now start removing expenses. So if expenses are going into 800K, if the expenses are going into 800,000 naira, that means you are left with 200,000 naira, and the manager still owes that 300,000 naira gross earnings. So thank you guys for listening. Kindly support me by liking, by sharing, by commenting on this video. Share with your friends. Follow me on LinkedIn. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Yes, I'm also on Facebook, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Till we see you next time. Bye, guys.